HarperCollins and Harper Audio present A Spy and the Family, a true story of espionage and betrayal, by Paul Henderson and David Gardner, performed by Leighton Pugh.
For my beautiful wife Michelle, who passed away in September 2024, and to our wonderful children Mickey, Jasmine and Savannah, not forgetting my little granddaughter Grace, who met Michelle and shines a bright light on us through such difficult times. A huge thank you goes out to all the family and friends who have also been so supportive. David Gardner. To the amazing and kind-hearted Michelle, and to my ever-supportive wife Catherine and children Johanna, Louise and Sophia, for listening to me recounting this story for decades, and to my rumbustious grandchildren Luke, Monica, Grace, Esme, Robin, Toby and Phoebe, who make every day so joyful. Paul Henderson. Author's Note. London, the 14th of December 2024. Some events stay with us forever. Family achievements, stories of love and loss, heartache and joy. They could even be all of these. They may cut so deep they haunt us, burning into our consciousness and cajoling us to do something about them. Journalists witness snapshots in time that can be inspiring, lifting us up, or violent and deeply dehumanizing, stopping the world in its otherwise largely comfortable tracks. Between us we have covered wars in the Middle East, disasters from 9/11 to Lockerbie, unimaginable tragedies in Sandy Hook, Columbine and Dunblane, serial killers and presidential elections. We've covered a pandemic and parades, and unique moments in history including the Good Friday Agreement, which ended Northern Ireland's 30-year conflict, and the fall of the Berlin Wall, which ended the Cold War and opened up the possibility for this book. As journalists, and now authors, our minds keep returning to experiences at the ringside of history in the 100-plus countries, and still counting, from which we have filed reports as foreign correspondents. David was based in New York and Los Angeles for 26 years, and Paul in New York and Miami for 5 years. When Paul was in London as an editor during the last decade, we collaborated on stories on a transatlantic basis. But throughout the years there has always been one story that stood out as unfinished business. It wasn't globally momentous, but it was uniquely resonant of the great human qualities of perseverance, resilience, refusal to surrender, and downright dogged tenacity to get to the truth. In April 1988, news broke that a Cold War spy had been arrested. David, then a Daily Mail crime correspondent, heard from his sources that armed special branch officers caught a suspected Soviet bloc agent red-handed in his North London flat, sending coded radio messages to his spy masters. David began working his police and security service contacts for background on the story for months leading up to the agent's trial. The spy was an illegal operative in the shadows, a sleeper, ready to be activated for missions drawn up by his spy masters. Some spies work under the auspices of a foreign embassy with a certain level of protection. Others, the illegals, are on their own, controlled by their home intelligence masters and separate from the diplomatic service, who will deny any knowledge of them. David was at London's Old Bailey in 1989 when the agent stood before a judge and jury to face charges of espionage against the state. No one other than his Czech bosses knew his real identity. In the Old Bailey, the judge, the prosecutor, and the defence team all called him Erwin van Haarlem, even though they knew this name was false. The newspapers labelled him the spy with no name. David listened enthralled as Johanna van Haarlem, the prosecution's star witness, told how she had been duped into believing the man in the dock was the son she'd left in a Czechoslovakian children's home during World War II. In Pittman's shorthand, David took down Johanna's every word as he listened to her testimony from the crowded press benches. It was already late afternoon when he got to a phone to file his story. The press room in the
Sample complete. Ready to continue?